Hi, everybody. Hassan Shariq, regulated Canadian immigration consultant, back with a weekly live session on Canadian immigration. I'm pretty excited because this particular week, the session that I'm doing, it is going to be simultaneously broadcasted on my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, the Shariq Immigration Facebook page, and there is a subgroup that I have, which is specifically for applicants from Pakistan. So it's going to be broadcasted there as well. And I already see that there is a good number of people who've started joining on various platforms. So excited. Let's see how this one goes. As I always mention that I'm not great with technology. So I've tried doing this one where it might be a little easy and smooth. I will wait for maybe a few more seconds or maybe a minute before which we get to have people joining, and then we will begin. I hope all of you are doing really well wherever you are. The COVID situation seems to be getting better and better. So I believe that you guys are safe, your families are safe. Some of the countries have gone on to open up the lockdowns and strict policies, but still it is still not out of danger. So do take the necessary precautions and safety measures. In terms of Canadian immigration, things have started to get back on track. We've seen quite a few draws by the federal government. We've seen quite a few draws by the provincial governments. After a long wait, we saw some all-inclusive draws, although it seems that it's still not going to be, like every draw is not going to be all-inclusive. But I believe that now more and more draws will be all-inclusive. So things are coming back on track. So now that I can see a few people on various forums. Sunil says, hey Sunil, hope you're doing well. Health safety. Hello Shariq, hope you're doing fine. I'm doing well, and I'm praying the same for you and your family. And we already have a few people asking about predictions. I'll move towards the prediction stuff. But before that, I'll talk on a few other topics. So health and safety, love from India, love from Canada to India, great place. It is one of the countries that I've always wanted to travel. With this whole politics and stuff, being a Pakistani origin, there are challenges with that travel, but definitely one day I'll definitely visit. Okay, so we have a comment by Manish, which is, could you talk about Yukon immigration opportunities? So that is one of the topics that I have shortlisted, and today I will go through the basic details and try and clear some of the confusions, misunderstandings that people have. Okay, so let's start. I see I have a healthy number of viewers already, and I will take the comments and stuff one by one. And I'm sorry, because my camera is right here in front, and I have a couple of screens with me, so at times I'm not able to do the true eye contact. So sorry if it looks a little awkward. Welcome to the session. For those of you who are regular viewers, welcome again. For those who are watching this for the first time, because I'm doing this one on Facebook page as well for the first time. My name is Hassan Shariq. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, which means professionals who are licensed by the Government of Canada to advise and represent cases on Canadian immigration. So Canadian lawyers and RCICs are the only two professionals which Government of Canada allows to advise on Canadian immigration and represent cases. I'm based here in Canada, in the Greater Toronto area, and I have my own immigration firm by the name of Shariq Immigration, and I practice immigration over here. This weekly live session that I do, the purpose is to talk to you folks out there, provide general guidance in terms of different immigration programs. If you have questions, I regularly, I've been doing this on the YouTube consistently. So I have a good number of regular viewers or attendees of this particular session who are already part of one of the Canadian immigration streams, and they ask their questions, so I provide guidance on that. Apart from this, if you would want to have your case reviewed or your case represented, you can shoot an email. You can look at our official website and get in touch, and my staff will help you on that. In terms of some updates, so we saw that this week we had an express entry draw, which was draw number 160. What I will do is that I will have that with me. Yeah. So we had an express entry draw this particular week, which a lot of people, including myself, were thinking that might be an all-inclusive draw where we would have the Federal Skilled Worker Program applicants invited. But it turned out that it was a targeted draw again, PNP and then CEC. So this draw in itself was the 161st draw, Canadian experience class specifically. For those of you who do not understand this, so under the express entry system, keep in mind express entry is not a category, not a stream in itself. It is an application management system. Under that, there are various streams for which applications are processed. So for the federal programs, there is the Federal Skilled Worker Program, in which applicants, most of whom are from outside of Canada, they are processed. And the second stream is the Canadian experience class. Canadian experience class is that stream in which people with Canadian experience, education, they are invited for permanent residence. So this is only targeting people who have Canadian work experience. So what happened on August 20 was that we again had a Canadian experience class draw. Now, if we look at last few draws, it seems that now IRCC is sort of working on an alternate draw policy, wherein it seems that they'll do an all-inclusive draw, and the next draw will be targeted draw, which is PNP and Canadian experience class. This is based on how they've conducted the draws in last few weeks. Again, this is not an official policy that they've provided, or this something that I can vouch on behalf of IRCC at all. This seems to be the trend now. Moving forward, there will be more all-inclusive draws for sure, for the prime reason that some weeks ago, there was this policy that IRCC came up with that if somebody receives an ITA and they are not able to provide the mandatory documents within the prescribed deadline, they can provide an explanation to that, and they will be provided a further extension of about 90 days by the case officer. If they are not able to provide the documentation even by the end of that additional deadline that they are provided, and they still provide an explanation, the case will be kept on hold and will not be refused. If they don't provide it, it will be refused and they will be refunded the fee. So this clearly indicates that the mindset that IRCC now has is moving towards doing more and more all-inclusive draws, where people from different parts of the world can be part of it and proceed with their applications. And if they have some challenge of documentation, there is a policy in place which will help them not be refused right away. This was the draw. The cutoff score was 454. Now, if we compare that to the previous CEC draw, it was 445. So this was a big jump. My own understanding or my own assessment that I did was that probably it's going to be less than the last CEC draw. So this indicates that a large number of CEC applicants with high CRS have moved into the pool in last about 2 weeks, which can be a good news for FSWP applicants. If the CEC applicants are in that high range, so that means that not too many FSWP applicants might have entered. So if there is an all-inclusive draw next time around, sorry, I'm having a bit of a sore throat. So if there is if these people have moved out of the pool and there is not enough CEC applicants or even FSWP applicants entering the pool in next 2 weeks, and if we have an all-inclusive draw in 2 weeks time from now, the cutoff CRS for all-inclusive program, which stood at 470s in the last draws, is expected to drop. Now, how much it will drop? I've been doing my own analysis and prediction, which have been going wrong in the last few weeks, so I wouldn't really do anything at this stage. But if it is an all-inclusive draw in 2 weeks' time, I expect the CRS to drop another 3 to 4 CRS points from the last express entry draw that we had. So let's see how it goes. This is the CRS distribution. So just looking at overall numbers, if we look at the overall composition of the pool. So this particular week, when they shared the data, what I see is that there isn't a lot of change. So the numbers are staying sort of consistent, which gives an indication that more and more people from around the world are now able to do Ielts. There is ECA processing going on. So it seems that now it's not going to, the competition is not going to drop too much. Fair enough. So that was express entry. I'll take a few questions from here in terms of the CRS score and people asking. So Simar Bhatia, any predictions for SINP 67 and above? So SINP, first, for those who don't know, SINP is the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. It is the provincial nomination program run by the province of Saskatchewan, and it is one of those programs in which offshore applicants have a good likelihood of being invited, considering that most of the PNP programs these days require a job offer. But it is competitive again. It requires 9 to 10 years of work experience. Your age should not be more than 34. Similar, they've recently done, I think on the 14th of August, that's when they did their in rounds of invitation, and the people who were invited were at the score of 69. 67, very honestly, I think it's been more than a year that they've not invited people on 67. So I don't see the scores falling down to 67. 69 is where they've consistently been doing, 69 and 70 is where they've been doing their rounds of invitations. So 67, I wouldn't really give false hopes, but see, I always say that in immigration, you have to be part of the pool, you have to be in the race to benefit out of it. So with 67, let's hope and pray that it falls down. The likelihood is not all that much that it will drop down to 67. Altaf says, Assalamu alaikum, brother. Wa alaikum salam. I have a CS score of 472 till 30th of October. Do you think I have a fair chance until 30th of October? If this pattern prevails, there will be an FSW draw on the 20th. Altaf, very honestly, this is a new developing trend which IRCC has come up with, where they're doing alternate draws. So now keep in mind that we can't really say if this is going to go on or for how long it will go on. A draw every 2 weeks seems like a possibility, a strong possibility. 3,900 people being invited every 2 weeks, that's a strong possibility. Will this alternate draw policy continue up until October? I can't really say. If it continues, then you have a very good chance with 472 CRS score till 30th of October. In fact, if it changes and we start to see more and more all-inclusive draws, then the possibility of your invitation with the 472 CRS is much likely by 30th of October. So I do feel that with 472 till October, there is a good possibility that you will get an invite. Manish has asked about Yukon immigration, and in just a few minutes, I'll move towards that. Mehreen Zainab, Mehreen, I'm doing well, and I'm hoping that you're doing well as well. Sunny Shah. So Sunny asked that, hello, sir, I have 70 points for PEI, PNP, and PEI is Prince Edward Island. Can I get invitation? No job offer. So Sunny, some of these provincial nomination programs from these Atlantic provinces, the smaller provinces over there, are tricky. They're tricky for the reason that you can't really predict when are they going to have their invitation. If you have these points and you're part of the PI, PNP, let's be hopeful. Without a job offer, it is difficult. Also, it depends what knock code you have, because these smaller provinces tend to invite people. It's usually like without job offer, it's usually 1 or 2 times a year, and it is just 1 to 2 knocks. So it is, a lot of it is dependent on fate. Without a job offer, it is very, very hard that you will be able to secure an invite there. Health safety, if you ever want to come, let me know. You're most welcome. That's really, really great of you, and it is this kind of love, because I have a lot of friends of Indian origin here in Canada, in Australia, where I studied as well. So it's lovely. We'll definitely love to visit one day, and we'll let you know, and we can meet together. Ali Malik asked that any chance FSW goes below 470 this year. I had all my calculations and my opinion previously that it will drop below 470s, but that was dependent on the assumption that we will have all-inclusive draws from now onwards. This policy of alternate draws, where we have one draw which is CEC draw, and then we have a draw which is FSWP draw, or the all-inclusive draw. This is kind of tricky. With this, how low the CRS score will go, we'll have to wait and see. And this week, when we had the CEC draw, we saw that there is a good number of the cutoff score actually went up, and it was raised by quite a few points, like 9 points, CS points. So this clearly indicates that a good number of CEC applicants move into the pool. You know, these dynamics of the pool, where people move in and move out, which category, what CR score, is totally something that we cannot have an eye on. So because of this, there's a lot of fluctuations which do happen. So going below 470 will be difficult now. If we have more all-inclusive draws, then probably it will go below 470. Dhawan, hello sir, I'm at 475. Any hope I I get an ITA on 2nd September, on 20th November, I will lose my 5 points. So Dhawan, with 475, you have a good chance. You have a pretty decent chance. And because you're losing the points in November, so till November, we have a lot of time. I'm pretty hopeful that you will get an invite soon on 475. So Alain is asking, do you have any clarity on COPR issuance or PPR reception for applicants who did apply earlier this year? Now, I don't know specifically what your query is. If you're asking if people have been issued with the confirmation of PRs, yes, they have been, and people have actually had PPRs as well. Now it depends on between country to country. Like if there are countries where you have to like Jerry's and they're closed, the Canadian visa application centers, and you have to collect it through them. That's a challenge over there. But confirmations of PR have been issued, like even here in Canada, they did an email procedure. So it's not that that's not happening, and people are even doing their landings as well. Okay, what I'll do is that I'll move to some of the questions later. Before that, I will talk a little, like about 5 minutes, about the Yukon Community Pilot Program, because a lot of people have had confusions about that. So I will share my screen alongside. Yep. So a lot of people have been asking, my staff have been getting a lot of emails, even on our social media platform. There has been a lot of questions and queries about the Yukon Community Pilot Program. What happens is that I'm not going to talk anything bad about social media, but because I'm using social media myself for this purpose. But what happens is that on social media, a lot of people are there who are just social media creators, and many of them are creating videos and posts on the topic of Canadian immigration and other immigration programs by various countries as well. And their purpose is, as a creator, to make engaging videos, content, and have greater viewership. Now, they're not immigration practitioners. So they use promotional techniques and tactics which can promote their video. Now, as somebody who's interested in Canadian immigration or other immigrations, and as educated professional people, it is your responsibility to discern that which is the right kind of post for you. What happened was that as soon as Yukon Community Pilot Program was launched, everybody was creating videos, and all they were talking about the easiest PR pathway to Canada, no Ielts required, no LMIA, this and that, and it blah blah blah. Now there are details, and this is where I tell my clients, my potential clients, and to all of you, the general public who's interested in Canadian immigration, that you should go online and do some research on your own. It is usually the government of Canada puts all the basic details up on there, and it is your responsibility to do that research. So let's look at the salient features of Yukon Community Pilot Program to understand that what is the reality of it. So first, keep in mind that any community pilot program, it's if it says pilot, it's not a permanent pathway. It is only and only a program for a while. Okay, this particular program is for about 3 years. When it says community pilot, it means that it has to be specific to a community or a set of community or a region. So whenever there is a community or a region pilot program, keep in mind that it is tied to a region. That means that you would be required to have job offers or jobs or live in that particular community once you get nominated for that. So keep one thing in mind, that any community pilot program, you have to have a job offer or live in that community and work. So that's one thing. With this particular program, it is not a PR program in itself. It is a pathway towards the PR program. The way it will work is that within these communities, if you look on the screen, there is these participating communities within Yukon, which is Whitehorse, Watson Lake, Dawson City, Haines Junction, Carmax, and Carcross. In these communities, you have to find job offer. So see, it clearly says that the Yukon Community Pilot is a new stream of the Yukon Nominee program. If you have a valid nomination for a permanent resident from Yukon, you may be eligible for a 2 years location restricted open work permit under the YCP. So it is a nomination program. It is a work permit. The way it works is that you have to have a job offer, actually job offer from 2 to 3 employers. The reason for 2 to 3 employers, Yukon is one of the smallest regions in terms of population of Canada. The overall population of this particular territory or province is only about 38,000. Only one city, which is Whitehorse, which is the capital, has 25,000 people. All other places have their population around this. One more city which has about 1,200 or 1,300 people. All other places are actually towns. They're not even cities. They have a population less than 1,000. So there aren't that many jobs. Now, a lot of people ask questions that if there aren't that many jobs, why is that government is coming up with these kind of... You have to understand that these policies are to help fulfill specific shortage where there is a problem, where employer tries to hire people from the local community, then they try hiring from within Canada. And even if after that they're not able to have people available for certain jobs, they can use these community pilot programs to hire people. So the number of people who will be invited under this in a year is only about a few hundred. So just be realistic about it. A lot of people will actually use this to scam people all around, and they'll say that we can help you with job offers and stuff. That's I'm not saying that's not possible, but that's very close to being impossible. If first, there aren't those many jobs. Secondly, the skill set. If somebody can find a job for you, that is actually you yourself. I keep saying that try looking for these jobs online, use LinkedIn, such platforms. Look for recruiters in these areas who can help you, recruitment consultants and stuff. Connect with the companies directly, and that's how you can find a job. Don't be cheated by so many of these people who are in your own country, who are based in Canada, and who would say that we'll help you find a job in this. No, that's not how it is. So coming back towards the details of the program, for this, you have to have a job offer, 2 to 3 job offers from employers who are within these 6-7 communities within Yukon. The reason that it is 2 to 3 job offers, that at times only one single employer might not be able to provide you with a job offer which is for 30 hours or more per week, which is considered as full time. So that's why they've come up with this thing that, say, if for instance you're a chef and you get a job offer from one restaurant for 15 hours. You have that one offer, but you're not able to fulfill the conditions for that to be a full-time job, 30 hours per week or more. And that's where, if you have another job offer, like maybe 15 hours from another restaurant, or maybe 2 more job offers, 5 hours from one and 10 hours from another one, that's how you are able to qualify for this particular work permit. So job offer as the first thing. It has to be full, 2 to 3 employers offering you up to 30 hours per week or more. You must have a signed letter of support from the government of Yukon. So this actually means that there is a requirement of applying to government of Yukon. Now, this is where it indicates that this is an employer-led program. Actually, employers will look for employees and then apply for this. Applicants cannot apply on their own. So that's something to be kept in mind, and that's where you need to look for jobs. Stop considering this as the easiest way to immigrate to Canada. So this is a 2 years work permit. What will happen is, one important thing also to keep in mind, that if you have multiple job offers which accumulate into 30 hours or more per week, all these job offers have to be from, or all these employers have to be from within the same community in Yukon. So see, if you have one employer from Whitehorse and the other employer from Dawson City, this will not work. They all have to be, both have to be in Dawson City, both have to be in Whitehorse. So this is also something to keep in mind. Once you have that job offer, there are general requirements. It must not be a seasonal one, so it has to be a consistent supply of work. You apply for a work permit. So basically, the normal procedure of work permit is that the employer applies for you. The difference is that in this particular community pilot program, if employer has a genuine need and they find somebody, they're not required to apply for an LMIA, a labor market impact assessment, for that particular applicant. And that sort of expedites the process. So the starting step for this particular community pilot program is the employer. So try and look for employers, try and look for jobs. I had shared a link previously, which for some reason was not working. There is a job board that you can look for and apply to. Once you get this work permit for 2 years, you'll get this work permit. You're on this work permit for 2 years, and then under the Yukon Nominee program, which is the provincial nominee program of the territory, you will be able to apply for your permanent residency as a PNP applicant. So that's how this program works. Summarizing, it's a job offer based program where first you have to have a job offer. Immigration consultants mostly will not be able to help you with that. Only if an immigration consultant is working with an employer or a set of employers and they can provide you with that, that's how you work. Yes, no Ielts and that requirement, but this is a work permit led program, so that's why there's no Ielts requirement. And you need to have 2 to 3 job offers. So that's a bit of a summary on that. I hope, Manish, if you're still watching, that I have been able to answer your generic queries on that. So that's how it is. Moving forward, I'll take some more questions. Dhavan, Sunil asked that, Shariq, when TRV is going to open, I have to attend conference scheduled in Niagara in month of December 20 and waiting to file temporary visa. Please throw some light on TRV. So Sunil, you should not wait. If you're looking at attending a conference, they have already provided the policy guideline in terms of resuming the TRV applications for people who are looking at coming to Canada for an essential purpose and the later parts of the year. So if you are, you have to submit your application online. So it has to be an online application. Now keep in mind that depending which country you're applying it from. You have to submit your biometrics if you've not already done that previously. So that might be an issue. But visitor visa applications are now open. You can submit your application, keeping in mind that there is a travel restriction at this place. So even if you're granted, you will not be allowed to travel until unless there is an essential need and you fulfill the list of exemptions that are there. But visitor visa applications, TRVs, can be submitted online, and a lot of people have started doing that. So you could do that. Okay. Alain again asks, when will Canada government will grant access to approved PR holders to enter Canada, means those who receive their details after 18th March. When will that happen? That's with Canadian government. Can't really say 100% on that, but there are a few exemptions as well. People who've had it after 18th March, depending on what your situation is, people have done some landings as well. So if you have a confirmation of PR, and depending if you fulfill the exemptions, you can do your landings as well. Arjun, hi Shariq. Hi, I have done MBA and got my ECA done with West. They consider it as a 1-year diploma on top of my bachelor's, and due to this, I'm getting my bachelor's MBA degree reassessed by ICAS. As West send the ECA report to IRCC directly and ICAS doesn't send the report directly, is there any problem if I consider ICAS report and not? Okay, so the question is, and I'll put the second part on the screen as well. So in a nutshell, Arjun is asking that he applied through WES for his MBA. He was given ECA of a 1-year diploma on top of the bachelor's degree. Now he is going through ICAS or CES, and they don't send it directly. It doesn't matter. Even if they don't send it directly, once you create your Express Entry profile, you have to upload the scan that you've been provided with, and later on, once you get the ITA and you're submitting your documents, again, it is that scan that you're supposed to provide. They can do the verification at the back end, so absolutely no issue with that. A lot of applicants use IQAS, CES, and other bodies, which might not directly send. This is a very important topic, so I'd like to touch upon this. First, Arjun, I don't know if you've done the calculation, but between a master's and between the 2 or more degrees, there isn't a lot of difference of points. I think ultimately you will only have a difference of a few CRS points, less than 10. But for those of you who want that master's, keep in mind that, and this is what I emphasize over and over again, that you have to do this research yourself if you're applying on your own. Which ECA body to use for your credentials. Some of the bodies, WES is pretty quick. They can turn around quickly in terms of their assessment. But at times they are not all that lenient with the assessment. For a lot of master's programs, they would not consider it as equivalent to a North American master's, which is like a 4 years bachelor's and then a 2 years master's. In that case, you have to apply to some other ECA body. And just as Arjun has applied once and now will have to apply again. So this is, time is wasted in this and money is wasted. So you have to do this research on your own if you're a do-it-yourself applicant and pick the right ECA body. Some of the ECA bodies like CES, they can do an assessment just for your master's degree as well, where you don't need to submit your undergraduate degrees. And keep in mind, for most of IRCC programs, like at least the federal skilled worker programs under Express Entry, I can tell you the Ontario PNP, OINP, the Alberta program, the FSWP, CEC, for all these, you have to have ECA done for your highest qualification. So if you have a master's degree and you only get an ECA done for a master's, that's perfectly fine. You're not supposed to have ECA for your bachelor's or any of the qualification before your master's. So do that research well and then proceed with it. But specifically for you, Arjun, absolutely no issue with that. You just have to upload your scans. Kamal Mog, hello, sir. I am from India and please, I need your help. Sir, I'm looking for Canada job. Sir, Canada job consultancy India. Please tell me. Sure, I'm your big fan. Kamal, thank you for being my fan. Greatly appreciate that. Kamal or Kamal, I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Um, my firm is only an immigration consulting firm, and that's what most immigration consultants do. We, at least for my firm, we are not in a position to help you find any jobs. We don't get into that. There's a lot of issues with that. At times, there's people ask for funds and stuff. So we are not into providing any kind of jobs. So unfortunately, I can't help with that. If you have a job offer, or if you find an employer who is willing to hire you or offer you a job, the processing that is there, like the LMIA, the work permit, we can definitely assist you and the employer with that. We do it for a lot of people. But in terms of arranging any job, that's not something that my firm does. And that's not something that a lot of immigration consultants would do. And keep one thing in mind, that it is a federal crime if somebody asks money for placing you onto a job. So yes, if you are using the services of a recruitment consultant who's helping you with your CV, with your interview skills and stuff like that, that's a different thing. But if somebody is asking you for money to put you onto a job, that is a federal crime here in Canada. You should not be getting into that. I understand, knowing the market, that this happens, but this is illegal. So the more that people get into this, the more they are prone to be defrauded or have a scam. So that's why my firm doesn't really indulge into that. So unfortunately, I can't really help with any job offer. If one of my clients who are employers would have a job, I'll definitely circulate it through my website, through my different forums, and people can apply openly. But at this stage, we're not arranging any kind of job offers. I'm really sorry on that. Sarabjit Kaur, hi, does after ITA and PNP nomination express entry IRC do verification for each and every part, or just verify medicals, PCC and PUF? Sarabjit, so I think what you are asking is that if you have a PNP nomination, will IRCC do the whole scrutiny? Yes, they will. Because once you get your ITA under any express entry draw, you have to provide all the documents as somebody else would. They are there. It's only that if you some of the documents have been reviewed by the provincial body, the federal government officers will definitely not go over them maybe that thoroughly. Some of them. But there's a lot of documents that they have to look at the medicals. They have to look at the police clearance certificates, because admissibility is with the federal government. But and also they'll look at the work experience and stuff, the personal identity documents. So it's not that they will not look at those documents. They will review all of them. Naturally, they might not scrutinize at a level that they would do for applications which are coming directly to IRCC for federal programs. Iman Hamza, hi, how detailed my experience certificate should be in EAPR? So it has to be detailed. It's not supposed to be one of those normal experience letters that you get where they say that this particular person has worked in this organization for this long, and this was the designation. That's about it. There are certain ingredients that your work reference letter should have. These ingredients are the duration for which you worked, the company which has hired you, their contact details. It has to have your detailed responsibilities, the titles that you held while you were working, if you had various titles. When I say detailed responsibilities, these are all the day-to-day responsibilities that you would generally carry out. It has to have the working hours per week mentioned. It has to mention your salary / compensation, whatever it was. It doesn't matter if the salary was low or high. It doesn't matter if it was commission based or if it was a fixed salary, but there has to be mentioning of your salary. So these are the ingredients. If these details are there, then that's perfectly fine. But if any of these details are missing, there is a strong likelihood that it will be rejected. Next question is from Mehreen. How are you, Shariq? Mehreen, I'm doing really well, and I hope you will be fine as well. I'm done with ECA and it's equivalent to MBA, but I have low IELTS with less IELTS score. Which PNP program we can go for? I have 5 years banking experience. IELTS 6.5. Mehreen, with such a low IELTS, honestly, there isn't any possibility. Last couple of years, I would say, probably the last 12 months, Canadian immigration in general has become very, very competitive. So even PNP programs are very, very competitive and now require high IELTS. So with such a low IELTS, I don't see much of a possibility. Right now, the only PNP programs where offshore applicants have some possibility are the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. There are certain specific knocks in which you can be invited. There's a general draw that they do. It's about 6 to 7 knocks, and then there is a tech draw that they do. There's about 5 to 6 professions in there. So that's one possibility. Alberta was a possibility as well. Since COVID situation, they've kind of stopped it. But it is only a possibility if you have your sibling living in the province of Alberta, and then the possibility is Saskatchewan. But again, for Saskatchewan, your IELTS is very, very low. Keep in mind that with a 5.5 in any of the modules, like basically, if you have a score of less than 6 in any of the modules, you're not eligible for express entry. So you've kind of a lot of your opportunities are already gone to waste because you have your reading score as a 5.5. So with this IELTS, no realistic possibility. I would say that even if you're looking at Saskatchewan, SINP, you need to have a CLB 8, which is a 7.5 in listening and 6.5 in all others. Lovepreet saying, hello, sir. What are the chances of 474 in the next 2 September draw? Lovepreet, I've kind of I'm backing out of giving my opinion about scores because last few weeks my predictions have not been right. And I do my analysis, so it has been way off mark. 474. First, we don't know if 2nd September draw will be an all-inclusive. If it is an all-inclusive, it might drop 2 to 3 CRS points. So let's be hopeful. But if you have time, say maybe another 2 to 3 months, like your birthday is not coming within that time, and you're not losing the 5 points, then in next about 2 months, there is good likelihood that 474 will be invited. Rashid, right, dear sir, I want to know about ECA. Which degree do I need? Metric and FSC? Please tell me detail. Rashid, each of the ECA bodies have their own requirements. Most of the bodies will require your matriculation and your intermediate. Now it depends which body you're applying to. If you go online, everybody has listed their requirements based on the country. Okay, moving on. Rabia Shujat, can I immigrate to Canada through PNP? My age is 35, ECA is in progress, and then Ielts with 6.5. Rabia, very realistically, once you're at the age of 35, you've lost quite a lot of points because of your age. For federal programs, FSWP, anybody above the age of 30 has kind of lost it. OINP, the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, maybe 31, 32, there is a possibility. Saskatchewan is the only realistic possibility after that, but they grant you maximum points for age up until 34. So if you've already hit the age of 35, you're losing important points, and that means that the chances are very, very low now. Also, with just an IELTS, first always mention your detailed IELTS. It's not the overall score that is considered for Canadian immigration. We have to have a look at, and you get the points for each of the modules of IELTS. So if you have a 6.5 overall, there is a possibility that you have a 5.5 in one of the modules. That means you're not even eligible for express entry programs. So with an overall 6.5, I don't see much of a possibility. You'll have to improve your IELTS to CLB 8, CLB 9, and then be part of the pool. But chances seem low. Sarabjit says, thanks a lot. You're welcome, Sarabjit. Ali Malek, any chance it will come down 470 until December? Is there any EC body that accept transcript only? I don't have degree in my hand. Good question, Ali. So first piece I've sort of answered. Any chance it will come down 470 until December? Likelihood is that by December it will drop. It will be very close to 470 or slightly below that. Again, dependent on how many draws we have, what is the pattern of the draws. In terms of your question, so keep in mind that if you do not have your final degree, because a lot of universities or institutions grant the degrees even after maybe many years, like 2 years, a year. So ECA bodies or immigration will not keep you handicapped because of that reason. So if you have a completion letter, a completion certificate from the institution, you can still apply for your ECA. And I've done that for a few of my clients. So get a completion letter from your university or institution. And if you have the transcript, final transcript, official transcript, and the degree completion, you can proceed with applying for an ECA. Also keep in mind for applicants from Pakistan, because previously there was the requirement of, it still is, that you have to send HEC attested degrees. CES, University of Toronto, now does not require separate HEC attested copies to be sent. You have to have your transcripts and degree verified by HEC, and you upload the originals with the HEC stamping at the back, and that's all that they require, and they'll do the verification. But CEC, UFT on the downside is taking a lot of time to process ECAs. So it's a balance. That's where I said that you have to do that research on your own. So Lovepreet says, huge love from Punjab, India, good vibes, Lovepreet. I specifically put this on the screen. I am a Punjabi. I am from Punjab. I am from Lahore originally, born and raised in Lahore. So so huge love from a Punjabi on this side of the border. Right now in Canada, I have a lot of Punjabi friends here. We play cricket and stuff. So huge love. Stay well, stay happy. Okay, I think that's all the questions. We are already at 54 minutes. Usually I do this session for like 1 hour. So I have pretty much answered all the questions that were there. Just to summarize, for those who are new, with the Canadian skill migration, there are various streams. You can apply through the skill migration program based on a point-based system. Important things that are there, they are that you need to have education. Ideally, with the competitive scores that are there right now, you must have 17 or 18 years of education, which is usually a master's. But when we're talking of masters, we're talking of masters which are completed after 3 to 4 years of bachelor's, and not masters which are 2 years masters, which are done after 2 years bachelor's. At the same time, the eligibility is usually that you should have 1 year of full-time equivalent work experience. Your work experience must be paid, and you have to nominate a specific profession, which is a knock code. Ideally, if you have 3 years of work experience, that will fetch you most points. Just 1 year of work experience will not help. A lot of queries that we get to have in our firm is by recent graduates who've just graduated or about to graduate, and they're asking about possibility of skill migration to Canada. If you do not have work experience already, full-time work experience of 1 year or equivalent part-time, then you're not meeting the basic eligibility. So around 3 years of work experience, and the most important thing is language ability, Ielts. Keep in mind that if you want to score points for English language ability, there are 2 types of tests that you could take, Ielts, and then there is also the exam of Silpip, CELPIP. Now this test is not widely administered. If you are in Middle East, in Dubai, it is administered. I'm just forgetting, but I think there is a possibility. There are 1 or 2 centers in India as well. In Canada, there's a good number. There's in Philippines as well. So if you're in Middle East, you could take Silpip in place of Ielts. It's again a language test. It's not that it's different, but people think that it's slightly easier. Other than these 2, no other English language test is accepted for Canadian immigration. Language score is very, very important. If you are not able to score well in Ielts, with how competitive Canadian immigration is right now, you do not stand a very strong chance. Do not be trapped by a lot of these non-licensed, non-regulated consultants in different countries, because most of my audience and viewership is from South Asia, Pakistan, India, Middle East, Bangladesh, and these places. So a lot of these consultants in these countries would trap you, ask you for a lot of money, and say that they can arrange you a job offer. The likelihood is not. If you do not have strong Ielts, the chances are that you will not get an invitation for PR. So a lot of people will play on eligibility. So as I've mentioned, that eligibility is met on very basic credentials. So like if you have education of high school, which is intermediate in Pakistan, which is CBSE grade 12 in India, A levels. If you have that education, you meet the eligibility, but you will get very low points. Realistically, if you don't have a master's, like 17 or 18 years of education, you will not have enough points to be invited. Now, a lot of people will play with you on the matter of eligibility. They'll charge you a lot of money, and they'll say that, oh, you meet the eligibility, provide us with these many funds, and we'll put up your applications. Do your own research. There is the CRS calculator available. Do your CRS calculation. If you're looking for the Federal Skilled Worker Program, these days the cutoff score is above 470. So
So if your score is coming out to be 450s, you don't stand a chance in near future. Then you have to look for the provincial nomination programs. Now, a lot of people feel that provincial nomination programs are easier. Yes and no. In the current situation, provincial nomination programs have become even more competitive. So it's not that if you're not able to meet the federal skilled worker program, you will be able to meet PNP programs. Very few PNPs are accepting applicants without job offers or local connections. So that's a challenge again. The 3 PNP programs where there is a possibility, a strong possibility, then there's smaller ones as well, is the Ontario, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. Do your assessment point calculation for these and then proceed. One important thing, a lot of people ask that, okay, should I start? Should I begin? I'm just borderline. If you're serious about Canadian immigration, you have to take Ielts. Without Ielts, you cannot start your process. And you only will get to know what your results are, where you stand once you take the Ielts exam. So take your Ielts exam, Ielts General, and get your ECA done. Once you have these 2 things, you will be in a better position to know how it works. If you're a borderline case, then you will be able to have your express entry profile made or your expression of interest done for the province that you're looking at. And then draws happen, scores go up, scores go down. It always fluctuates. Express entry scores were very high in early years, then it dropped down. It's high, it might drop down. So only once you have your ECA and IELTS and you're part of the pool is that you can take a realistic chance. So that's my advice generally to all of the people out there. Okay, so I'm going to call it off because we're already past 1 hour. One last question, which I think is an important one, so I'm putting this. Haya Ismail asked that how long is the processing time after submitting documents upon receiving ITA? In the normal times, the not COVID times, the policy was that IRCC had to finalize 80% of the applications within 6 months' time from AOR, which is submission of your application. So 80% of the applications are processed within 6 months. I have had people, I know people whose applications were processed within like very close to a month. A standard time would be 3 to 4 months. A lot of people get their final decision right at the 6 months. And there, I've had people who've had their applications go beyond 6 months. There are a variety of reasons for it. Security clearances, sometimes verifications are taking a lot of time. The officer is taking too much time to process that. But an average time would be about 4 months, 4 to 5 months. Due to the COVID situation, this time has increased. So you can expect delays, but generally it is 6 months, within 6 months that you get your. So that's all from my side for today. For those of you who would want to use the services of my consulting firm, the email address is there on the screen on the ticker, which is info@shariqimmigration.com. Keep in mind that all our case-specific services are paid services. This is my profession. I run this immigration consulting firm. So if you would want to use our services, get case-specific advising, it is paid services. So kindly keep that in mind. Sometimes there is a confusion that probably, but with these weekly live sessions, if you have questions, you can always post. Again, if it is a very case-specific thing, I will not answer because under our code of professional ethics here in Canada, we have to follow that. Until unless I've reviewed all the documents, I cannot make a judgment on the case. For those who want a generic review of their profile, they can send their detailed resume along with your date of birth, your IELTS, all other details to the email address, and my staff can review and provide you some guidance on that as well. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do follow the Facebook page. And my staff, we upload different videos on specific topics of Canadian immigration, like the programs, the processing, So do subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is, if you go on YouTube and just type in Shariq Immigration, you'll find that. We have an Insta as well. Do subscribe to that. You will get a lot of information. And with those videos, for those of you who are interested in doing your application yourself and would not want to be cheated by those non-licensed immigration advisors in different parts of the world, these videos can definitely help you. Your support on the social media will be greatly appreciated. Provide your comments, share it with other people so that it sort of helps our brand. That's all from my side today. Take very good care of yourself and your families, especially in these times. And till the next time that we meet, take care and Allah Hafiz.